Hello. All right, there we go. So we are here. If you're confused, because this is a whole new page, this is the stuff about Athens. So we are going to our last page of Greece. We're going to deal with culture, mostly philosophy, and I do need to touch on religion a little bit, even though technically I already have. So, specifically, if you remember, the Greek religion is called today Greek mythology. I don't know what it was called back then, but we call it Greek mythology because it's a dead religion, myth. We just kind of accept that it's not a worshipped religion anymore. It is polytheistic. It is slightly animistic. Done. You're like, no. Okay. So here we have Zeus, remember? The king of the gods now. And he's also the god of the sky. Yeah? His weapon is thunderbolts. Wow. Personality wise, I don't know how I feel about Zeus personality wise. He hates you. He hates humans. You're expected to worship someone that hates you? Um, Zeus hates us. Unless you're female. If you're female, he plans on tricking you into having sex with him. For real. Yeah. See, Zeus has this problem. He really likes girls and he really likes sex, but he can't show himself in all of his godly glory. So he has to be like in disguise to have sex with a mortal. Because if I looked at Zeus, I'd be like, ah, and I'd just turn to ash or whatever. So I can't remember which woman is which, but to someone, he turns himself into a shower of gold in order to seduce her and have sex with her. A shower of gold. I'm not sure how that works, but okay. Okay. To someone else, he seduces someone by being a bull. Because, I mean, bulls are, To someone else, he seduces her by being a cloud. Oh, and all of this, by the way, is while he's married to his wife, Hera. Wife and sister. Duh. And of course, Hera hates that he does this and gets mad at him, but she doesn't punish him, she punishes the women. He has so many kids, it's not even funny. It's just not even funny. Um, just my personal opinion. I think one of the worst ones is he actually disguised himself as a woman's husband to have sex with her. So that her husband walks in the door and is like, and she's like, but you're in my bed. How are there two of you? And Zeus is like, y'all, that is awful. That's who I want to worship. Detect sarcasm, please. Zeus is just a little, He does have a brother, an older brother actually, named Poseidon. Poseidon will end up being the god of the sea, water, sea, ocean, whatever you want to think of there. His weapon of choice is the trident. Just a little side note, You all know his great granddaughter. His son is King Triton. So yeah, the Little Mermaid is his granddaughter. Not in Greek mythology, in Disney mythology, but that's cool. Whatever. Poseidon causes all kinds of problems for people in the water. You should have read the Odyssey. Odysseus has a definite moment of pride, and he's like, I don't need Poseidon. I'm awesome. And Poseidon's like, really? Because I think you need me to get home. And so Odysseus gets on the water, and Poseidon causes like all these terrible things to happen. Then we have Hades. Okay, listen. Uh, in Greek mythology, Hades is not portrayed as the bad guy like he is in Disney or anywhere else. Hades was portrayed as kind of the weird, awkward guy. I don't know, kind of shy maybe. Doesn't really know how to deal with people in like some of the ancient Greek stories. He didn't get stuck being the god of the underworld. He was okay with it. He's okay with it. He's not like Disney says trying to take over from Zeus. So just FYI there, okay? His weapon of choice is interesting. It's a helmet of invisibility. The idea of like death coming for you, you don't ever know. Helmet of invisibility. And his little doggy. Look at his little doggy. You know me and my little soft spot for puppies. You'll hear his name said different ways. Sometimes you'll hear people say Cerberus. Sometimes you'll hear people say it with a hard C. Cerberus. That's hard for me to think. Cerberus. But the three-headed dog, you're like, Harry Potter? Greek mythology, yeah. His little puppy. Something interesting about Greek mythology, though. Everybody goes to the same place when they die. No, there's levels. I know there's levels of the underworld, but everybody still goes to the same place. There isn't like, I don't know, like a heaven type idea. There's a nicer and a worse, and the worst Tartarus. But everybody kind of goes to the same place. It's just the underworld. So if everybody kind of goes to the same place, is there any incentive in this religion to behave right and morally? Especially when you look at some of their head gods. Zeus, moral? No. Hades wants a wife, Persephone. So he just kidnaps her. 6 months out of the year, she has to be down with him in the underworld, and that's when winter and fall happen because everything dies. And then spring and summer, she comes back, and everything grows. He's a kidnapper. So morality is a little questionable in this religion. And there's so many other stories. Don't even get me started with Aphrodite and Ares and oh crap, I just forgot his name. Hephaestus, poor Hephaestus. Oh my gosh. So anyway, I will go into more detail about all of this if we're ahead and we have time in class. Okay. If not, this is what you're getting. It's not overly moral, this belief system. It's more of kind of a do whatever makes you happy. It's kind of a feel good thing. As a result, the Greeks as a whole, I mean, not every single Greek person, duh, but the ancient Greeks as a whole tend to be fairly, I cannot think of the word. It's not indulgent, although I guess you could think of it that way. like when you just do whatever you want because it pleases you. There's a word for that, but I can't think of what it's called. Um, but that's kind of how it is. Yeah, it's kind of how Rome is too. That's it. Religion. Boom. Again, if I have time, I will go into a lot more of this because it is fun. It is crazy to hear about some of these stories. And it's way fun to hear about how these three guys got to be like in charge because they weren't originally in charge. In fact, originally, let me just whet your appetite a little bit. Hades and his brother. Oh, sheesh, man. I can't change the picture. Hades and his brother Poseidon were actually eaten by their own father. Do you see why this is a dead religion today? Great story. Okay. What we need to really focus on, though, is some philosophy. The Greeks are known, especially Athens is known, for her philosophers. What is philosophy? Philosophy is deep, organized thought. You think all the time. So you are constantly philosophizing, right? No. Mm-mm. When you guys all go to your car at lunch and everybody piles in and you're like, okay, where are we going? McDonald's. All right, let's go to McDonald's. That is not philosophy. You thought and you made a decision. Okay, so this is philosophy. Do I want roses or do I want McDonald's? I think I'll go to roses. That's not philosophy either. Philosophy is deep, organized thought. Well, is roses closer to the school or is McDonald's? How much gas would it take? How much money would that equal? Okay. I guess it doesn't really matter because I get my money from mom and dad anyway, so that's cool. So if I go to McDonald's, what might I have? Okay, hamburger. And what might those calories, what might the fat be like? You know what? I have soccer this afternoon. Ooh, am I gonna feel okay running 400 miles? But if I go to Rose's, well, I could get, like a little salad, a little taco salad or something. Ooh, but they have those really, really yummy tortillas. But McDonald's has the French fries. Deep, organized thinking. Okay, nobody really sits and philosophizes about what they're going to eat for lunch. Typically, why does this look weird down here? Ah, there we go. What you tend to have with philosophy is a question that doesn't have a definite answer, which I've told you before drives some of you guys insane. Some of you are like, I hate philosophy because there's no answer. You're right. It's that circle thinking. There is no right answer. It's the name of the game. And we need to start with this guy, Socrates. Remember the ES is an ease sound. Socrates. This is a statue, a bust of Socrates. There's some historians who don't think Socrates was real at all. They think he was completely made up by his student, Plato. It's possible. Who knows? But this is Socrates. Let's just pretend Like he is historical, he is real. And again, I have kids ask, Miss, what do you think? I don't know. I think both could be true. I can argue both sides if you would like. But what do I actually think? I don't know. This right here, Socrates, his nose, it's just where old whatever, it's just rubbed. Okay. Socrates, he's not a teacher like I'm a teacher. He just kind of sits down in the Acropolis and thinks. I wonder why the sky's blue. Young man over there. Have you ever thought about the sky? Have you ever thought about why it's blue? You have? What do you think? Why is the sky blue? Really? You think Zeus's favorite color is blue? It's possible. He just sits and thinks. He just thinks. And he asks questions. We today call this the Socratic Method. It's a question answer method. Okay. If you missed today and you're watching this, what I did in class is I acted this out and did the Socratic Method with everybody. I can't really do that here because you're not responding to me. But the idea is Socrates would ask a question, you would respond, and he would respond with another question. Now, this is not when a kid says, why, why? No. We can have an entire conversation. Whole conversation. Not just me saying why and you answering. That's not the Socratic method. The Socratic method is having a conversation with questions to get you to come to your own conclusion. Socrates did not sit down and say, why do you students think the sky is blue? Yeah, good ideas. Let me tell you. Here's why the sky is blue. He didn't do that because he didn't know. He didn't have an answer. He was genuinely asking. And everybody would kind of throw out their opinions. And he would build on it. Well, why is blue Zeus's favorite color? How do we know that? Have you ever heard it written? Where? Oh, read it written? Where? He's asking questions. Eventually, some of his questions get to this. So you think blue is Zeus's favorite color, but do you really believe in Zeus? Because I don't know what I think. Do you really believe in him? You do. Why? Why do you really believe in him? So you just believe everything that your parents tell you automatically? He starts questioning the existence of the gods. And people throw a fit. Again, there's a lot of historians who say, the trial of Socrates didn't happen. It's not in Athenian records at all. This is all made up by Plato. It's not true. We don't know. We don't know. But the story is that Socrates starts questioning the gods. Kids go home and they're like, I don't believe in Zeus. You know what we talked about? And parents are like, excuse me? Hey, government, Socrates is telling our kids not to believe in the gods, and that's not what happened. But that's what gets construed to happen. And as a result, Socrates supposedly is put on trial. His crime? Corruption of the youth. And he's found guilty, and he has to die by poison. Now, again, a lot of people think that's just a story made up by Plato. We don't know. But Socrates still kind of matters for why Plato believes what he believes. Because this is Plato. Guys, it's not Play-Doh. We're not playing with Plato. Plato. Plato believes a lot of interesting ideas, especially about the gods. He believes in something called the world of the forms up there somewhere, which is crazy complicated. Everything has an exact, perfect copy up there somewhere, and really you're just a copy. But when you copy something, it gets flawed, and that's why we have flaws. And it's complicated. But he also writes a book called The Republic. Again, check it out. Look, I'm uploading past videos. Look, first thing. This is something else you can get. It's not that long. He talks about a bunch of different stuff in this book, but one of the things he hits big time is this. Athens, what kind of government are you? Because you say that you're a democracy. You don't even know what you are. You're a republic. I mean, it's a dumb form of government anyway. But you don't even know what kind of government you are. You tell people you're a democracy. You're so proud of your democracy, but you're actually a republic. Get it right. But a republic is stupid. The best kind of government is a government that a philosopher king controls. Ugh, don't even get me started on Sparta. Warriors in charge of the government? Seriously? The Republic is a little bit inflammatory. If Socrates is real, and if Plato was one of his students, it makes some sense why the Republic would be a little bit inflammatory and kind of like Athens. Do you even know what kind of government you are? It would explain a little bit more his mindset there. If he's not real, maybe he just wrote about Socrates to justify this book. Either way, it could be accurate. So again, we don't really know if Socrates was real or not. Some people think, yeah, of course he is. And some people think Plato completely made him up. We don't really have any other accounts of Socrates except here. That's interesting. Or we just haven't found them yet. That's very possible too. Okay, I do want to hit this for a second because usually when we're in class, as soon as I say this, kids go, he wants to be a king. He actually talks about the fact that he doesn't want to be it at all. He does not want that responsibility. And he's like, what person in their right mind would want to lead a government? I so agree. Like, ugh, gross. What he's saying here, though, with the philosopher king, he's not saying that we need to have a king who sits and thinks everything to death, but he's saying an educated king. Because in all honesty, if you have a philosopher for a king, you have an attacking enemy coming. And you're like, If I send the military, all of this will happen. If I don't send the military, all of this will happen. What is the best course of action? You're going to die. You have to be able to make decisions quickly as a king. You have to. He's not really saying be a philosopher king. He's saying be an educated king. Know what you're doing. This is a statue of Plato. Kids always are like, "Whoa." It's broken in pieces. Like, it's in pieces. It's been put back together. And then here, these are just imperfections in the marble. But like the nose, you can very easily see it has been put together. And I have seen other pictures of like, I can't see it, but of like the ear where it's been put together over here and it looks like this. But all of this right here, that's some kind of striation in the marble and imperfections here. There's good old Plato. And then we have his student, Aristotle. Aristotle, moving forward, is actually going to be the most important of these three. Aristotle's going to be a big deal in the medieval period. Huge big deal. And then, of course, in the Renaissance too, whenever the classics come back. But especially in the medieval period, we're going to talk more about Aristotle. This is Aristotle. Again, you just see some imperfections. It looks like this piece of marble got cut or fell maybe on something. Could have fallen on something, and that's what happened. This is really a pretty cool statue, honestly. That's rock. All this is rock, but it looks like fabric. It's pretty cool. As I said, Aristotle's going to be like considered the most important of these guys. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Wait, hold on. Okay, sorry, I changed position. Okay, so Aristotle. Oops. Are you okay, Freya? She's so sweet. Do you want to see her? Can you say hi, baby girl? Can you say hi? You gorgeous girl. Okay, so Aristotle is a little bit different than the other guys because he doesn't just sit around and think. He doesn't just stare at the stars. I'm like, did I say stars? The sky, maybe, I don't know, stars, whatever. He doesn't just stare at things. He looks at things and goes, why are these two flowers different colors? One's red, one's yellow. Let's see. He does what we today would think of as being basic. And when I say basic, very basic experimentation. He's not testing things. I mean, he may pick the flowers and feel of the, whatever they're called, petals or whatever. He's basically using his senses. Okay. He's not doing like any kind of experiments like you do in science class, but he's doing basic experimentation. Okay. He's going to kind of bridge the gap between philosophy and science. Okay. However, his ideas about government, he says, ooh, I don't know, philosopher king. I mean, yeah, I wish the king was educated also. But he says, with all due respect, teacher, because Aristotle was Plato's student. Guys, is it okay to disagree with your teacher? Yes. Now, I know some teachers might be like, no, what I say goes. I'm not. I love listening to different opinions. I'm not always right, even if I am. My opinion isn't always right. Guys, it's absolutely okay to disagree with your teacher. You just do it respectfully. Plato, just kidding. Aristotle says, Plato, sir, with all due respect, I get what you're saying about a philosopher king, and we need to make sure that our kings are educated. However, what do we do if the prince who will be our next king isn't educated? Plato said, well, we don't put him on the throne. We can't have an uneducated king on the throne. Aristotle says that's bad. If we have a guy who's next in line, even if he's an idiot, he has to be the next king. Because what's going to happen if he's not? We're going to have revolts and rebellions, and people are going to rise up and be like, no, that's not legally the next king. You can't just pick somebody and put them on the throne. I get it. I want my king to be educated too. But he says it's better for society if we just let whoever's next be next. What we need is several people in charge with that king. Because then that king, who's an idiot, can have advisors telling him what he should do, what he shouldn't do, why he should or shouldn't do things. Advisors. That's what we need. Every king in the medieval period is going to do this. Not just because Aristotle said so. I mean, it just kind of becomes like the accepted thing that you have advisors. Hi, gorgeous. But that's a big thing. He also has a belief, a religious belief, that matters for someone that's coming. Someone named St. Thomas of Aquinas. Aristotle does not believe in the gods, the Greek gods either. He thinks they're just stories. He thinks it's a load of crap. He doesn't believe in the gods, okay? Aristotle believes, and he writes about a God, a great mover is how it translates. A great mover who causes everything to happen. He doesn't have a name. He doesn't know a name. But he does believe that there is a great mover in charge of everything, keeping everything going. And the great mover is so complicated and so ununderstandable for us humans that someday the great mover will send someone to explain how he is to us, because we can't understand that. That matters. I've been trying to open this thing and I finally got it. That matters. All right, you'll find out why it matters in a couple of units. Tomorrow, Greece becomes an empire. Bye-bye.